Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Today's video I'm going to be showing you a very underrated skill that is actually very good for playing legendary missions and even scaling back down to other Black Tusk missions as a skill player or somebody who likes to play the skill-based paradigm. Now, I've seen a lot of comments saying that there isn't a lot of build diversity in the game, and I disagree respectfully, because in my opinion, what I think build diversity is probably different from what somebody else, perceives as build diversity. And I think that's where the conversation is, because in my opinion, I think when you say build diversity, you're leveraging different aspects of the game and different aspects and tools in the game that are not necessarily known out there in order for people to be able to use to be able to play that, in a way that fits their play style. Right now, there are missions and there are aspects of the game that allow for us to need and require many kinds of builds. Now in the Division 2, you play some missions where you actually do need a tank in some cases. If not even most cases, you play some missions where you actually need DPS, gun damage. You play some cases where you need a healer. You play some cases where you need a skill damage and a support level, which the person can use a variety of the skills that are out here. Now, the skill that I'm going to show you is one that I have not necessarily seen in a lot of the mainstream in regard to all the abilities that we talk about in Division 2, and that is the Cam Launcher's Oxidizer. This is actually credited to somebody who I played the legendary mission with, Burnt, and he was running a skill build. And like a lot of skill builds, a lot of people use a sniper turret because they do a lot of damage. I mean, goodness, in some cases 3 or more million damage when it's spec'd right and when it's charged or even overcharged. But then for his secondary, he was using the Oxidizer. And so at first we didn't necessarily understand, but it was a match-made group that we kind of pulled together in Discord. And then he started using it against the Black Tusk support stations, even when they were placed in some really difficult places. Like in the Capitol building, they were placed on the second floor, and we were literally camped at one door, and all I had to do as a tank was literally kind of walk with him to where he could apply underneath the stairs. The AoE was able to start chewing away the support station. Now, I think this is probably like a design thing with the corrosive nature of this. It says the Oxidizer canister releases a cloud of corrosive gas that damages enemy armor, skill proxies, and causes damage over time. It's very good against enemies as well as their proxies. And being that the technician specialization is one that I think was designed specifically for a lot of skill power stuff and actually combating the Black Tusks in most cases. But now, you have other enemy NPC factions that use skill proxies as well. If you play the Rikers, they have their miniguns. If you play the Cleaners, they also have their drones and all of that. But you look at the way the dismantling talent works, which gives you 12% damage to drones, skill proxies, and robotics. This is very good. I mean, just the fact that once we located the support stations and he could get a hand on them or shoot like that Oxidizer, probably 3-4 blasts because he was max skilled, he was able to take out these support stations with ease. Now you're looking at my technician going, oh, this is painful to watch. I wasn't paying attention. I went ahead and leveled it up on a second character, thinking that character was going to be my main skill character. And then when Warlords came, this character is level 40, and I did not want to do that on that character. So I am working, though, towards leveling it up. For those of you who may be wondering, I've almost finished my field research. And so that's another aspect, because I also wanted to get the Send-Off, which is a very good weapon that I'm going to show you right now. So thinking about this and thinking about all the different aspects of skill builds, you not only have to use Hardwire to enhance this chem launcher. You can use, let's go to the shooting range so that we can start seeing some damage levels. But you can use some other not necessarily status effect type builds, but you can use some other skill based builds that allow for enemy NPCs to take a bunch of damage while they're at it. I mean, you're probably not going to see a lot of work being done here, but I do have the footage from the legendary mission to be able to show you guys that this is actually something that I feel does do a good job. I mean, in the way that it actually corrosively takes off enemy NPCs. Look at that. He's just chewing off their health at 189,000 AoE. That's crazy. Now, what's even better is I have a weapon here This is called the Send-Off, and this is the weapon that you get when you do the field research for the technician all the way through level 4. I have to credit Identity for this. He made a build with the sticky bomb, and this was his holstered weapon. This is the weapon that has perfectly rooted, and I actually made that build and tested it. It was so much fun, but I was like, man, I got to get my hand on this weapon, because this weapon is definitely going to help me when I start designing my oxidizer build and actually making it better. Now, the perfectly rooted talent says while you're equipped and in cover, all skill damage and healing is increased by 30% for 15 seconds. The buff is lost when exiting cover, can occur once per 60 seconds. This is a very good buff, and if you also have other talents like tech support. Tech support is also a very good talent that gives you a lot more in regard to this, and this is where I think it's very, very good. If you want to use perfect shock and awe, one of the things that I've noticed is, but let me get in cover and then let me shoot this. And I noticed that for some strange reason, it is not a status effect, but I was running and I started seeing the perfectly shock and awe, but I was running according to Mr. Identity's recommendation, the Imperial Dynasty holster, which allowed for, you know, everybody around me to get, you know, light and flames. And so that started giving them a status effect. But you see how much damage this thing has done to all these enemy NPCs who are on the very hard heroic level, and they're just all eating all this damage. It's crazy how much damage this thing does by itself. And this is not even my max skill power build. And that's why this oxidizer has been largely, I don't know if it's been ignored or if there are people running it in the community and nobody has said anything. But ladies and gentlemen, I would not, if you're a skill builder, like I am in this patch anyways, I can't believe I'm a skill builder in this patch. Whoa, what's going on? I highly recommend this because it has literally made a big difference in playtimes and practicality in, you know, in the way these legendary missions are designed. I mean, when I did my review for Warlords of New York, I said that I wasn't a fan of that Capitol building, except Roosevelt's probably the only one that I'm a fan of. And look at the way this thing is doing so much damage. It's crazy. I mean, and imagine how it's chewing away elite health. Oh my gosh. All right, let's check this out on like a named or elite enemy NPC. Let me get in cover and then let me go ahead and hit him with it. Let's see how well it does. Oh my goodness. And you as the skill player, all you're doing is just put in this cloud, and it does have a good AoE. And your teammates, if they're pummeling this enemy NPC, you know, then, oh my gosh, that enemy NPC is probably already done by now. This is where I think this particular skill has been, you know, slept on for so long. So I'll probably be working on some kind of a build. Maybe somebody's made a build. I need to go check some of the archives of some of the builders around. Maybe somebody has said something about this, but I haven't seen it as to how well this actually behaves and how strong it is. Another thing, though, that I have to say is be careful. It does have an AoE that can affect you as the agent. So when you're firing it, don't fire it on your, see that? Don't fire it on yourself. It will damage you, and depending on how you know, how much damage you have, it would definitely hit you. It will hit you hard. See how bad it's hitting me? So that's something that you need to know. So anyways, I hope this video was helpful. I hope this was probably, I would say, interesting, just like it was interesting for me. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And if you haven't joined the Gaming Daddy community, please hit the subscribe button. We talk about the Division. We look through the game's mechanics and talk about some interesting stuff like this that I feel, you know, is quite exciting to discover. And I hope this video kind of paid off for your time. So once again, I'll talk to you guys in the next video, God willing, and we'll see, you know, if we can find something interesting in this game to discuss. All right, peace.